Hello, this is the BBC News with Fiona MacDonald. The Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal says the besieged port of Mariupol has not fallen to Russian forces because Ukraine's soldiers will fight to the end. Moscow's troops have pulverised Mariupol for weeks, but an unknown number of defenders are still holed up in a vast steelworks next to the Sea of Azov. A Ukrainian MP, Oleksiy Goncharenko, told the BBC that those remaining would never give up.
I'm sure they will not surrender. I spoke with them yesterday, and I know that they are going to fight. They're going to fight till the end. But the situation is very difficult there. Russia just destroyed, just flattened 500,000 population city in the middle of Europe. That is a real genocide.
Russia's military has also struck elsewhere in eastern and southern Ukraine. Ukrainian officials say 5 people were killed in Russian shelling of the city of Kharkiv and another 2 in the town of Zolote. A missile attack on Brovary near the capital Kiev caused damage to buildings. The Russians said they'd hit an ammunition factory. Pope Francis has used his traditional Easter message to criticise the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Speaking from St. Peter's Basilica, the Pope said Ukraine had been dragged into a cruel and senseless conflict in what he called this Easter of war. And he talked about the refugees and displaced persons, the orphaned children and the ruined cities of Ukraine.
May there be peace for war-torn Ukraine, so sorely tried by the violence and the destruction of the cruel and senseless war into which it was dragged.
The Pope also called for peace in Libya and Yemen. The Palestinian Red Crescent says 19 protesters have been injured in more clashes with Israeli police around the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound in Jerusalem. Israeli police said they'd entered the compound to remove protesters and restore order. Palestinians said police had limited their access to the site after dawn prayers to enable a visit by Jews. The mosque director, Sheikh Omar Al-Kiswani, gave this account of events.
The number of the Al-Aqsa Mosque intruders, who were protected by the Israeli security personnel and special forces, exceeded 545 extremists and were divided in 14 groups. They also fired rubber bullets at the worshippers who were inside the mosque.
Iran and Iraq have both summoned Swedish envoys to protest at the apparent burning of a Quran in Sweden by a far-right anti-immigrant group. Iran said an insulting act had been committed under the pretext of freedom of speech. You're listening to the latest world news from the BBC. More than 400 people are now known to have died as a result of the floods in KwaZulu-Natal province last weekend. They knocked out power and water services and disrupted operations at one of Africa's busiest ports in Durban. A member of a rescue team was among the dead. The Premier of the province, Sihle Zikalala, spoke at a news conference.
We stand at approximately 63 persons missing or unaccounted for. The death toll now stands at 443. We wish to convey our heartfelt condolences and sympathy to the people and the families of one of our search and rescue team member.
Russia has expressed concern about the increased activity of NATO forces in the Arctic. Last month, 30,000 troops from 27 countries took part in cold weather exercises in Norway and the surrounding seas. The French far-right presidential candidate Marine Le Pen and several members of her party have been accused by the EU's anti-fraud body of embezzling more than €600,000 while serving as members of the European Parliament. None is accused of profiting directly, but rather of claiming the funds as expenses for staff and events. Ms Le Pen will face Emmanuel Macron in the second round of the French presidential election in a week's time. A 300-metre-long cargo vessel that became stuck off the US East Coast near Baltimore a month ago has finally been refloated. The US Coast Guard said the Ever Forward was now slowly sailing out of Chesapeake Bay, where it's been lodged after veering off course. The Ever Forward is the sister ship of the Ever Given, a cargo vessel that last year blocked the Suez Canal in Egypt for 6 days, disrupting world trade. BBC News.